Alright, good evening everybody. Looks like we're on our third episode right now, and today let me welcome Ace, our local Cygnar player.
Hello everyone, this is Stormbringer Ace here, and today on my debut match on the channel, I'd like to bring in one of my favorite casters, Siege2, Colonel Markus Siege Brisbane.
Yep, it looks like you're deploying, so let's go straight into your deployment.
Yeah, so playing in Mirage over here, and knowing that my opponent has 2 units of ambushing bears, I deployed.
They're yummy.
I deployed most of my army fairly centrally, and my goal was to just basically keep them central. So right now in the beginning, I had Siege over there, not central but lined up with my own circular zone, because I know that I wanted to have Siege camped there for pretty much most of the game. My plan was to send my trenchers forward, and I had Triumph over there lined up with my opponent's objective. Triumph is there basically just to peg off key models in my opponent's circular zone. Knowing that my opponent has a really strong gun in the form of his huge base over there, the Glacier King. Yeah. I had my two trench busters, my 2 shield guards behind Siege over there, and as well Ironclad was beside Siege as well.
Yep, and then quickly going over the troll, big Glacier King in the middle. And the champs off to the right of it, sort of to go after that flag, and then eventually into his circular zone. And then Gunnbjorn and his retinue of the Creelstone and the Runebearer sort of off to the side of the Glacier King. So we're probably gonna stay around that circle zone pretty much the entire game. And then now looks like the advanced deployment starting.
Okay, so what I have a few things I have to deal with over here in my advanced deployment. One, I have that big corrosion. Acid pool in the middle of my advanced deployment zone, and at the same time too, just further up over there on my left side where I'm deploying right now, I also have a cloud in the middle over there, as well as a fire pit. I would call it a fire pit as well in front over there. So I had a bunch. I had terrain,
like burning ground.
I had that to deal with. So basically, over there I had my I placed my trencher commandos. They're the ones who are there to just protect my circular zone. Over here in the bottom, on my right side, I that's where I decided to place my trencher infantry. Their goal is to just run as far forward as possible and to contest my opponent's zone.
Yep. Trolls advanced deploy happening now, and we're putting on the raiders. I think these are the redheads on the left side. Also trying to go over to his flag on his side of the table. And then the red head, and then the yellow head, second unit of Min Raiders are gonna go sort of skirmishing in front of the champs, sort of be their fodder for the approach. And then I think we're about to begin turn 1. And also the bears fist bump to start the game.
That's right.
And then the bears are ambushing off to the side there, and in this game, I don't forget.
Okay, so right now I went ahead and did my control phase. I'm going first, and so I guess we're just waiting for my opponent to get ready over here, and then.
Well, looks like you're activating. I think it was Siege that goes first.
Yeah, and I'm in the think tank right now, deciding how I'm going to play this out. This game is the first game I played after a little bit of a month break.
Just and a little bit of a hiatus. Not bad to take breaks, right? It's good. It's good for the soul, good for the mind.
I agree. But I had a lot of experience with this list, but still, there's a lot of models, a lot of models to consider in playing this Gravediggers list with Siege. So I go ahead and move Siege forward. He just walks forward. I'm right now. I'm deciding where to put in my my rocket turret. It's something that Siege could just choose to drop once per activation. So I just decided to put it there. Just to give my opponent one more thing to worry about, because if any enemy models end within 8 inches of it, it gets to do a free shot at it, and that's an AoE 4. So I go ahead and put Desperate Pace on my Trencher Infantry over there in the bottom.
2 inch extra movement.
Yeah, it's a 2 inch extra movement for them. Again, their goal was to go as far forward as possible and just be in my opponent's zone.
I think that's Gibbs. Gibbs giving them.
No, Gibbs is not in the.
Sorry, what's that guy? Mustache.
Yeah, Anson Hitch also gave them tenacity, so when they do tough and they do get knocked down, they can't be targeted by range attack. So here I am doing it. So the Trencher Infantry with Desperate Pace, they get to run. They get to do a run of 14. So I ran those guys as far forward as possible, and then the rest is just gonna be basically spreading, just making a nice spread behind them. Just to my goal is to send trenchers in a slowly. Minimum number of trenchers at a time. My game plan for this game was not to remove trolls from the table, was not to kill enemy models. My game plan for this game was basically just to slow him down and try to control as much of the board as possible.
I think, what was that model? I think it was a solo that went up.
Right. So what I had is the Master Gunner ran forward. He's gonna be my solo. That's gonna be committed to scoring on the flag over there.
Mm-hmm.
I decided right now I activated my express team. I decided to run them to the middle over there. The reason why I did that was, in the back of my mind, I knew that he had ambushing units. The only problem that I had though was I forgot that you can't ambush on your first turn. So I put the express team there in the middle to defend against an ambush. But then again, I realized later on they didn't have to, because ambush doesn't happen until the second round anyways. On hindsight, I would have moved them forward. I would have did a cautious advance, get them to dig in just to defend against that big gun, which you'll see will come into play in then my opponent's first turn.
And I think he just moved up Triumph to sort of run up behind everybody, just get in range.
Again, Triumph has a long range. He has a 16-inch threat on his gun, so and he could shoot multiple times per turn, because
and he got that maintenance shot too.
That's exactly it. So he's there lined up with my opponent's objective. So I did the same thing with the Trencher Commandos. They don't have Desperate Pace, so they just ran forward or 12 and spread in the back over there, and just to defend my zone and just to slow down my opponent advancing into my zone. Yep. Again, just advancing the Trencher the express team as well as the Master Gunner. They're there to basically just thunderbolt people out of flags.
Master Gunner, or is that the attachment?
The solo as well as with them. Yeah, there you go. I moved the solo, and basically just moving the Siege's battle group forward and his shield guards.
Yeah. Here, mate. I think troll turn. I think just checking to see how far I could get the Glacier King up. Big mistake on my part here was that the stone was not beside the Glacier King, and so the bubble didn't really catch him. In terms of like getting that jump start 1-up speed. I should have placed him sort of in between Gunnbjorn and Glacier King rather than off to the left, but so Levi, continue on. Runebearer goes up and does his Runebearer thing, gives him a Harmonious Exaltation, giving it to Gunnbjorn, basically makes his next spell he casts one that's cheaper. Basically, it's also going to do for the rest of the game while he's alive. I think I'm just discussing or trying to decide in my head if I'm going to shoot or not with the Glacier King, because he's got a very good gun. I think Gunnbjorn is activating right now. He's put up probably guided fire, and he put that snipe up, that little token in front of the Glacier King snipe, basically giving him +4 range on his gun, and his beautiful gun goes from range 12 to range 16, which is very.
It's a big jump.
It's a big jump, and with guided fire, it's boosted hit, and with 5 Fury, I can basically boost damage every single one of those, and he has reload too, so I have 3 boosted to hit, boosted to damage shots from 5 Fury.
And that gun needs to be accurate because it's going against base 13 defense models. When dug-in goes up to defense 17. So yeah, definitely the boosted attack rolls comes in handy.
Mm-hmm. And I've also got the Mist Speaker there for anything with any cloud effects, which trenchers do have.
You do have, yeah.
And stealth basically gives him eyeless sight.
The eyeless sight definitely comes in handy against the Trencher Commandos and Finn, who all have stealth.
Yeah. Right, and I think here I'm finishing up Gunnbjorn's moved up. I think he's camping nothing. He put rock wall up there sort of to prevent the charge from those trenchers in front into the or not too far into the to the stone unit, and we're gonna all hide behind that rock wall. They activate, and I think I still end up with like 0, which I end up rolling like a 1 on a D3 for the Waking the Stone. So hope the stone has 0 camp, so it's only a 4-inch bubble. And I think this is the first mistake I made with the Glacier King. He should just walk straight up 5 inches rather than sort of veering to the side, because basically I lost inches on that. Being a Gargantuan, it's always a good idea to just walk them straight up in a straight line and not lose inches.
Definitely, they're slow enough as it is already, and then with a lot of things that could stand in their way, you pretty much want to gain as much ground as possible. So,
I think this is me shooting. This
is what I was talking about earlier with the Express team needing to be dug in this turn. They're not, because they ran. So right now he's pretty much just gonna try to take with his long range gun. He's gonna try to take out as many key mobs as possible. The first target being the Express team, the gunner.
I think that's all. The other guy, what is the guy? Just a little pistol, or has a rifle as well?
For the Express team?
No, the second guy.
The second guy,
the human.
The human. He's a spotter. He's really good because, but
he has no gun.
He has a gun. He has a gun. But he's really mainly there to give the gunner boosted attack rolls on this range attack.
Oh, here we go. We're rolling. I think we're hitting the. Yeah, you're right. The gunner? The Express team gunner.
Yeah, which I went ahead and shield guarded to my Triumph.
Right.
He was within 3 inches.
Yep.
And Triumph being armor 20 makes him a really good shield guard.
Mm-hmm.
So it took some damage, but eventually the second with the reload shot, it did enough damage to force a tough roll on my gunner, which he failed.
First blood.
Yeah, exactly. So like losing a really good gun like that.
Oh, I still have one more shot. Oh, I'm shooting a trencher, I believe, right? No, knocked it down.
Knocked it down. Yeah, that one he did a tough roll. But yeah, losing a gunner early on was a little bit. It hurt a little bit because that gun, which could shoot twice with the master gunner and push people off of zones, and like with Thunderbolt, really comes in handy. So losing that like early on, really, I definitely really felt that. Going forward in future games, definitely keeping in mind that ambush doesn't happen till round 2, and just focusing on keeping those guys alive more.
Okay, so that first raider on the left ran. Well, no, I think I made the decision. I moved it there already, so stay there. So they're charging in. Gonna hit those few trenchers that had veered that straight off to the left. I think I take out both, right? Or one toughs.
Well, with trenchers, it's always good to assume that someone might tough.
Oh, my tough. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, this is not my banner of heroes where I deny the whole all tough though. Mm-hmm. Doing a quick work shot on that guy in the front, and I think I miss. Continuing on with the attack from that last trencher there. I think he missed as well too. I missed a lot of. I think I missed. I don't think I hit any of my rolls until like third turn.
Well, being base defense 13 really comes in handy for sure. So what's going on here now?
I think I'm just running up my my second min unit. I think. We're charging in. We're charging into those commandos that sort of like came too close, and I think you would have been better off not going that far. Yeah, because you were just barely in my charge range. But then you ran everybody up that far. But because you could have saved those guys and you could have done counter attack instead. Definitely. Like being more mindful for opponents' threat range definitely comes in handy. But again, coming back after a long month of hiatus, like I had my own army and my own game that I had to think about, and just having to ask about my opponent's army and so on was just a little too much information for my first game back. And I think that's the turn. I think the champs just ran up and then made their champ wall thing, and I think it's on to Cygnar turn 2. Yeah,
so the trenchers did their job well. I mean, like in the bottom over there with the trencher infantry, yeah, some infantry died, but a lot of them survived the quick work attacks, and they're still there. Like until there are still 2 or 3 models contesting as my opponent's zone. And over there at top, the Commandos definitely did their job. Yeah, I got a few models charged, but they're there. If I had kept them back, then my opponent would have the options to just run them forward and just be more closer to my zone. But the Commandos over there, it only took 2 to 3 models, but they're already preventing his army from moving forward. So right now, I guess what I'm trying to do here is just to...
I think you did your triumph shot.
Yeah, my maintenance shot with Triumph over there, trying to decide who to attack here. A lot of his models that were within Triumph's range where he was were engaged to some of my models, so their defense would be pretty high. And if I risked shooting them and missing, I would end up killing my own models, freeing my opponent's model to just do whatever. So I did not risk. So I went for the model that had the least risk, and that's the model right behind the whole house over there. Went ahead and missed that. So right now I'm just trying to think of what to do with my Triumph over here, who to target.
Did you power up?
All my models power up.
Yeah,
They
right.
powered up, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, just remember power up during control.
and I packed up my gun. During my maintenance phase, Siege could choose to pack up his rocket turret, so he does that, and I plan to deploy it later on in a better position. So right now I'm just
You're thinking.
Just thinking in the think tank. A
Lot
lot of things.
flicking your tippet.
Yeah, a lot of things to think about over here. I am aware now that the Bears could come in and ambush on my opponent's next turn over here. And since I'm going first, which I think in Mirage could or could not be a good going first in Mirage,
it's a good thing.
on the scoring turn, I have to think about, okay, I put my models where they could score, but I also have to think about keeping them alive. Whereas on the second, if going on second turn, you could kind of just like, okay, there's a flag over there. All I need to do is clear it, put a model there, guaranteed score. But here I have to think about, okay, putting scoring models on flags, and then being able to survive my opponent's attacks, my opponent's turn, to be able to score that flag. And at the same time, too, having to keep that flag from being contested, which is very difficult because right now we're in the middle.
Then we both have AD units, and it's
advanced deployment.
It prevents a lot of that early scoring. I think this is where you moved everybody over.
Yeah, so I moved I'm like
this
again.
Is the repo? This is not the repo.
Not yet. No. Right now I just moved
everybody.
my Commandos. Right now, I spread them out over there.
Yeah, non-charging though, right? You
Not
just
charging, no, just walked. Just hoping to get a lot of just anatomical precision, which is automatically ignores tough, automatically deals 1 damage to my opponent,
Yep.
and they get to ignore tough roll. And after that, with the Trencher Commando officer over there, they have quick work. Unfortunately, ended up missing a lot of my quick work shots.
This guy, yeah, you tried to hit that raider in the middle there.
Yeah.
And you missed him.
I missed
quite a
bit. Yeah, like quite a bit. Like the officer does have a mini feat which allows me to target an opponent's model / unit and add.
You did it though, right?
Not on this turn, no. And add +2 to my attack and damage against him. I chose to save that for a following turn. So right now that's what I'm doing. Basically doing my melee attacks and doing quick work, just to remove as many of those raiders that are closest to my zone as much as possible. And then at this,
early skirmishers.
And at the same time too, I placed three Trencher Commandos over there on my left side over there of my circular zone, knowing that that's gonna be a prime location where he's gonna most likely ambush his bear. So at least if those models are there, those Trencher models are there, it'll slow them down from being able to contest my zone.
Yep.
So right now they're doing their reposition 3. They got the Commandos at reposition 3 from the officer as well, and right now they're just spread out as much as possible.
This is the part where I tell you that, dude, you're out of command.
Yeah, command range as well. Like I forgot that there are some models that are out of my command range. Thankfully, this is the turn that I plan to do Siege's feat, which allows them to advance 3 inches right away for models within his 12-inch control range. So right now I just moved the express team over here. Just take a few shots on more of those raiders over there.
In concealment, so def 15.
Def 15. Good thing I had boosted attack rolls with my spotter. I did forget to activate the Master Gunner first, so unfortunately my Trencher Express team only shot once.
Oh, right. Yeah, the second one on that side.
That's something definitely to remember with the Trencher Express team and Master Gunner combo is just to always activate the Master Gunner first, position him where you want him to be, namely in a flag or somewhere defensive.
Did you take the second shot?
Do a star action to give allow the unit to shoot twice.
You only shot once.
I believe I only shot once because I didn't activate my Master Gunner.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's where it gets me.
I activated the unit first before the Master Gunner. So that's definitely something that it's a mistake that's fairly easy for me to make for some weird reason. I see a giant gun and I just want to shoot it right away. And I guess that's Cygnar. That's the reason why I play Cygnar, I guess. Yeah, jumping the gun. Yeah, trigger happy. So right now with the Trencher Infantry, I decided to just press forward with them and just run them as deep as possible.
They have Pathfinder?
They don't have Pathfinder.
So because you ran over that.
So
that was a mess up.
It's a rough terrain. Yeah. There you go. That's a good thing about these recap videos over here. You see the mistakes that you made. So yeah, apparently my Trencher Infantry not having Pathfinder shouldn't have been able to run that far over that circular zone. That
snowdrift.
That's snowdrift.
Yeah, because you treat it as rough terrain.
Yeah, it's not a cloud. It's a snowdrift. Yeah. So they should have slowed them down, but we didn't. Neither of us caught that
until now.
Yeah. So I have a bunch of trenchers charge in. Doing assault shots as well. In hindsight, I should have activated Hitch first. Give them press the advantage, which allows them to do an assault shot or just a range attack. And if they kill someone with a range attack, they get to advance 2 inches. So to combine that with the Trencher Infantry, you get them to do an assault. You assault a target, you kill it. Let's say you kill it with your assault shot. You get to move your Trencher Infantry 2 inches after that. And if there's another enemy model within 2 inches of that initial model that you killed, then you could go ahead and do not a charge attack, but a regular melee attack against it. So potentially each Trencher model with press the advantage and assault could potentially each take out two enemy models per activation, which is really good work from them. Unfortunately, I did not do that.
No, you didn't.
Nope, I activated my Trencher Infantry first, and
I think you just missed, and we're resolving a drift.
Yeah, so I was successful with some assault shots.
With one assault shot, I think.
Yes, but again, like I could have done more work with that. I could have used the 2 inches to position my trenchers after doing the assault. So definitely some tools that I forgot to use, which definitely would have helped the game for sure in my favor.
Yep.
Just not having to worry about those raiders over there would definitely come in handy. But the trenchers are doing their job, just holding their zone with their tough and just being there and being hard to remove off the board.
I think you move that solo, the Master Gunner up.
The Master Gunner's over there. Yeah, he's right there. He's base to base with that flag right now. That's really the only purpose. This really his only purpose right now is just to be there in that flag. He does have a spray, but as you can see, there aren't really that many models for him to shoot. And I really don't want to move him forward anywhere else other than just stay with that flag. So Triumph is over there, 3 inches from the Master Gunner for a shield guard, and just to be in a good position right now to just be able to just shoot into my opponent's zone.
I think you shot into the Runebearer, which hurts for a troll player because I lose my extra 2 inches for control.
That is correct. That is correct.
Which is why I think the rest of the game I was measuring with a 12 rather than 14.
Yes, exactly. And the difference between 12 inches and 14 is a big difference as far as control ranges. So Triumph was there basically as a shield guard, and
I lose my Harmonious Exaltation. I don't have one. I have to pay one more for one of my spells.
I know that's a very good solo, and being able to tag that was
behind a wall.
Behind the wall too. Well, you know what? Triumph I could boost. Like I could boost my attack rolls.
Oh no, you can't stack. You can't stack cover because you went right. No, I was like, he already has the snowfall.
With Triumph's bond with Siege, he's able to have boosted damage rolls on his gun. So that one power up token that I have, that focus, I'm able to just use that to just boost attack rolls for Triumph, and being able to, and with a rat of 7, he's pretty accurate already on his own.
Yeah. And I
think so right now
that's that Siege now.
That's Siege. Yeah, Siege walked forward, and I just popped his feet. I'm just getting a tally of like which models are within my control range, which is 12, and those models right now, like with Siege's feet, small and medium based, friendly faction warrior models get to advance 3 inches right off the bat, and then dig in after that. Yeah. Okay, and then my battle group.
That guy was out. Like we're just remember last time we had.
My battle group gets bulldozed as well. So So yes,
You have to use bulldoze though.
I didn't have to, no. So right now, my transfer infant, those models that are within this 12-inch control range are just advancing 3. Those models that were too far out are now within.
Yes.
Which is good.
Yes.
Yeah, no. So having to use the feat to fix an error is never a good thing. You know, it's better than nothing, but to avoid that error to begin with is just way better. So I basically move some trenchers forward. They all get dig in, which is good because I expect to be shot at the next on my opponent's next turn.
I only have 1 shot. Or 3.
So having eyeless sight and being able to ignore stealth is a big deal. So being able to dig in and having that +4 defense cover bonus definitely comes in handy. So right now I have the dog over there in the middle flag. Again, the goal is to score there. He is behind the cloud, so he has survivability against line of shooting from line of sight with the line of sight blocking.
Your turret.
And the dog is also dug in as well. So Siege just went ahead and dropped the turret facing where I anticipate the bears to come in.
I think I'm just measuring. 13 is my measuring for the death zone for the bears.
That's right. That's
right. They're speed 7s with a charge plus 3, and then they deploy within 3. So 13 is the death zone.
So I move so I just walk my Ironclad forward. He's there to basically just take care of the bears once the bears come in. In hindsight, over here, you know what?
No, he was in a good position.
I think he was in a good position. He was in a good position. Yeah, he's like basically Ironclad, and my 2 trench busters are there to defend Siege. Basically,
yeah.
The trench busters are there to defend against range. Ironclad is there to defend against the bears that'll ambush in.
Yeah, Troll's turns. I think. Yeah, Troll turn. So after Ace did his turns and he's further up and he's feeded. I think there's no defensive, right? It's just a movement on your turn. There's no defensive capabilities to your thing.
The defensive capabilities is the dig in, which is +4 defense.
Which unfortunately for me, I think it only applies to the medium and small base, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I think this turn is where we're gonna kill some trenchers, and the error that we've caught actually in hindsight now would have been worked better for me moving my Glacier King up, because those trenchers won't be up there because they were in the way of him moving up. Because totally didn't catch that until the video, which is good practice. And so looks like I activated my ambush. Active ambush. The white furred unit goes from the bottom side, and the blue furred unit goes from the top side, hoping to get into that zone. I think with the charge, we'll be charging off this. Yeah, we're just checking melee range. I think we accidentally nudged this, so I think we just agreed that it was in.
Yeah, it was in. Yeah, that was we believe this the fairest thing to do.
Yeah. So what's left of that raider unit on the right side is the barrel rider charged that guy in the back. The guy who was knocked down just stood up and he's gonna try to swing at the guy in front of him.
Yeah, trenchers having tough comes in handy, but sometimes it just doesn't work in your favor.
That's good. And he's still alive.
And
well, that guy was alive, but that guy died. I still have 1 more to clear before I get there, so I think he tried to shoot him with the quick work.
Yeah, trenches are really good for that. It gives your opponent one more thing they have to worry about. Like in that case over there, he had to worry about clearing the 2 trencher models in front of the Glacier King, just to free up some space for that huge base to move. So having that one more thing to worry about, that's being able to give that to your opponent is something that trenchers are really good for.
But they weren't supposed to be up that far.
No, but now I know that. Okay. Might not be a bad idea to invest in 4-inch terrain from one of the fine makers of terrain out there, just so you don't have rings.
This is a plug-in for some product, some merch,
some sponsorship.
Champs are just walking up; they're not charging, just because that one guy needed to swerve around and kill to get around his fellow models there. So they just all the chat media just moved and mocked up, and we're gonna try to take out 4 of those trencher commandos.
Yeah, again, the trenchers doing their job, just slowing those guys down as much as possible. And it only takes it doesn't take your entire army to do that. You only need is just 3 or 4 trencher models to just slow down an entire unit of hard-hitting models just to keep them in their place. And if the trencher is tough, great, they'll get to survive and just keep doing their job.
Took 2 out for now. I think one of them ends up being there, right? I think one of them stayed. I missed a whole bunch too.
Yeah.
This is the turn that I missed a whole bunch.
Again,
this is a bad turn. For
again,
missing.
defense 13 definitely comes in handy. Now the Bears come in and ambush those 3 trencher models over there, clearly doing their job because those Bears weren't able to make it into my zone. They weren't able.
I can't though. That's already 9.
Exactly.
That's already 10. I can't get in there.
But if they weren't there, you could have ran, right?
Right,
but
could have ran, but like I said, it was a positioning error in terms of charging because I could have charged coming from the water instead rather than charging him straight. So I was like, again, they had so much more distance just to run in and get in behind rather than charging. Yeah, because one could have charged, one could have ran in and just sat there. Yeah, rather than hiding in the pool. Again,
having just models over there just to give your opponent more things to think about definitely comes in handy. So they definitely did their job. They didn't live to tell the story, but they
all died.
But they were able to prevent the Bears from coming in to contest my circular zone, which is good because it's the bottom of 2. This is where scoring starts, and I was able to at least secure that zone for scoring.
It shouldn't have happened. I should have ran up more because they end up dying anyways, right? No, one died, right?
Exactly.
One died.
Yeah.
No, one of my Bears died because you didn't. Yeah, I was more. I thought you were gonna use your busters more. And then charge them in too, but
the way I positioned them is they were just there for shield guards. I could have definitely put them a little bit more forward to block line of sight as well, and to just be melee beaters when I have to.
Okay. Going up to the left side here, I think I'm trying to proxy charges into the trenches just to see if they were in back arc, and I think we're trying to confirm where there was. And I think I couldn't make it in, or I couldn't make it in far enough to get the back arc into it because your shoulders, wherever your shoulders was drawn.
So again, my opponent has to worry about if he wants his zone, he's gonna have to clear out these trenches over there. And
okay, here we go. So charges in for the Raiders. Raiders are going in deep to clear off some of these trenches that are in. One charges, another one charges, and a third one charges in as well. One's already there, so we're just gonna go and swipe it in front of them. Starting their swings.
Okay, so what's going on over here? Slight distraction over here. That's fine. So a lot of tough rolls going on.
Yeah, doing the hits. I think there's someone going down. I did a quick work on that one, hitting the trencher in the middle, the one that's not engaged, and he's gone. No, he was knocked down. That's why I was able to hit him.
Exactly.
Yeah. Next one goes over. That one's gone as well, and he can't do his quick work because he's engaged. And I believe that's it for the Raiders on that side.
Yeah, again, those Raiders weren't those Raiders being kept where they are by those trenchers. It would have been a lot more difficult for me if those Raiders just had, if they had a clear path to just get in and just be deep in my zone.
Okay, the stone units going. They're activating the stone, getting some fury in their getting some fury from Awakening, and I think we activated Cold Stone. No, Winter Magic.
Cold Stone, Winter Magic. Wow.
Yeah, they're really fun names. Yeah, Winter Magic. Winter Magic basically gives me +2 to damage rolls on cold damage, which in this list is just the Glacier King, which turns his POW 14 gun into a POW 16 gun. The Bears just run in. I think in hindsight I should have put them further on the left side and then sort of run in. If they were going to run, I would have just run them and then in behind the Triumph and all that, the solos in the back. Because right now they're hiding. Like, there's no point hiding back there. They should have just turned around. They should have just ran from the other side instead.
So what was in your mind when you decided to deploy them?
I thought they were going to kill your trenchers and the Bears were going to kill your trenchers, but they end up killing more than I needed.
Exactly. So again, the trenchers doing their job.
No, trenchers. These guys were mispositioned. I should have put them in the left side. They weren't needed there. Even if they didn't die, they're better off here because they needed to come and put threat on your triumph.
That would definitely have been a lot more difficult for me, for sure.
Yeah. Next up, I think it's Gunny. Yeah, Gunny moved up a little bit. Went up, tried shooting the trencher, but I think I didn't roll enough for damage. He's putting up his guided fire. He's attempting now. He's attempting now to shoot the trencher in front there, just to give space for the thing. And I think this is where we discussed that he wasn't in your feet.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't in the feet before.
He's not dug in because he was out. He was outside of it when you were doing your.
When I popped my feet, yes, yes.
And I believe that is a miss. No, I'm a hit, but then a total. We're doing the
AoE deviates right now.
Deviation.
I believe clips both of them.
Yeah, clips both of them, but I don't think it does damage. No, it only clips one. It's only AoE 3. Oh, 4. Was it? No, it was a 4.
Yeah, what is it? A power
3. It doesn't catch both of them. It just catches the middle guy. It's only AoE 3.
Okay, so power 7 blast on a armor 13.
Yeah, wasn't gonna do damage.
Yeah.
No, I needed him dead, and he missed. So the Glacier King just walks up now. That's as far as he can go because of the barrel rider and the objective there. He can't go past and have a decent landing spot with that trencher there.
But with a long range gun, though, he's still able to do work.
Oh,
and eyeless sight.
He's got eyeless sight now because the little frogman bug miss speaker gave him guidance. And I think I'm just poking shots into the Triumph.
So knowing your opponent's list definitely comes in handy. Like something like this where there's a lot of
these were folly rolls though. These don't do that much. The rolls that I did here, I think only did like probably not even 10 damage in total. All 3 shots.
Well, what I'm trying to get at though is that support model that gives your huge base eyeless sight. Knowing which models supports your opponent's key pieces and prioritizing those models, it's definitely a good strategy. It was tough for me to get to that solo, and I didn't tag that solo at all.
He's concealed.
Right. But what I'm trying to say is knowing your opponent's army, where are their major guns, or what are the main things that are holding their army together, and being able to remove the solos that support that will definitely come in handy. So what's going on over here right now?
I think I just put damage into your Triumph while you were talking, and I think now it's your turn. Yeah, and this is where the feet's up. So I think we missed that here. I didn't put the thing on it, but I did say it in the game that Gunnbjorn's feet is up. So within his control, which is now unfortunately down to 12, everybody in the big bulk is within his 12, which is now have cover and do not suffer damage from range attacks.
Which is a big deal because
for the only ones that are not in it were the bears at the top and those two champs. Yes.
Which is it's a really strong feat against this current situation right now, is because it's Mirage, and there are a bunch of flags that I have solos in that I really want to score in, but I can't because he has 1 or 2 models contesting it, and not being able to shoot them off the board made it really difficult to just free up those flags.
Yeah, and I think you got rifles and you got sprays in that commando unit as well.
Right. I'm thinking about activating my commandos. Basically, going in there, getting some, doing some melee damage in, and potentially with quick work, getting rid of some other models as well. There's a flag there that I really want to clear up.
Another mistake that we did here. Those pushes technically in rough terrain does matter, so it's only half.
Okay, so that's going forward. Then we'll definitely
because I think we didn't consider it because it's the Pathfinder only activates on your turn when you're moving, but when the push affects, it still affects if it's in rough terrain.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so right now I wanna give my trencher commandos as much hitting power as possible and as much distance as possible because I wanna use them to clear that flag on the top over there. Because in my brain right now,
what are we doing there?
We're just discussing stuff.
Tactician, I think, right? This is where we're testing tactician. Your 10 was just in the middle of your express team for him to jump over.
That's right.
So he's walking around them.
On the flag over there on my opponent's side of the board, he had a bunch of champions over there, and with my Trencher Express team, my goal was to push one of them out because a lot of them were base to base and were preventing pushes from happening, but there's take back seats, which is allowed. It's a nice game. So you put it there and coming back. But we just want to maintain with the board state. He tried and he moved back because there was no point, right? It was too far. That's right. So right now there's that one model over there. I believe it's the unit attachment. There's no one behind them, so I could thunderbolt him. I could push him outside of away from that flag to be able to contest it. So that's what I'm doing right now. Master Gunner goes first. Give him expressing a second shot, and basically push him. What's his name? Scaldy. Pushing Scaldy just
an inch too far now because we didn't. It's just a push, right?
It's a push, that's right, yes. And if I roll a critical on that boosted attack roll, he'd be knocked down as well. And I believe I was able to achieve that on this shot. So the second shot doing damage rolls, and then on the second shot, planning to push him even further away from that flag.
Yeah, which is good because you want him out there because if he's out of command, I won't be able to do the second one. But unfortunately, didn't push him that far.
So the Sanguine Bond comes from him.
No, the unit.
The unit, okay, but he just doesn't have it if it's out of command.
He's part of the unit.
That's right. Okay, so he's quite a way. So like the Express team were able to achieve what they wanted to do and just push that solo out of the way. That model out of the contesting zone for the flag.
Granted, he shouldn't have been that far. He should have been only half the distance.
Exactly with the snow. What is it called?
Snowdrift.
Snowdrift. That's right. Yeah. Now the Commandos over here. I just have a few more models that I want champions that I need to remove over there. Not a few, but quite a bit. But
there's also a raider in between there. There's still two more raider members in between there.
That's right. Well. That's right.
I think this is where.
So Siege comes in. He gives Desperate Pace to the Commandos, and he also gives Fury as well to the Commandos.
And I think you're about to begin them, and I remind you, I'm like, hey, are you done with Siege? Are you gonna do anything more?
That's right.
You're about to begin. I'm like,
that's right.
You want to finish your whole activation and not go too far ahead of yourself.
Oh yeah, definitely a lot of things in my mind right now. Just a lot of things to manage and think about, orders of activations and so on and so forth. So basically, what my goal over here is again is to clear out as much of the flag. If I could score those 3 flags, I'm already 1 point ahead. If I could score,
checking range. You're checking range to drop the, what do you call that? Your mini feet. You have to tag somebody with your mini feet, right?
That's right. I was checking line of sight because the Centric Commando officer, he needs to have line of sight to the target in order to just do the mini feet on them. So yeah, I was able to establish that I have line of sight to at least one model in the of champion.
Yeah.
So goes ahead and does that. My goal over here is to clear out I want to be able to score those 3 flags, score my circular zone. I'm already 1 point ahead. If I'm able to get 4 points this turn and prevent my opponent from scoring, then I win the game. So my goal is to clear as many of those flags as possible.
There's a full unit of champs there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a little difficult to do.
That's it, exactly. So in hindsight, right now I decided to move the champs forward because my goal was I have a bunch of spray gunners there. They're gonna go ahead and spray a few champs off the board, but I'll get to that later on. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. And then I just remembered. That wait a minute, the feet is up. The feet is up. Actually, I also caught it because my opponent was about to roll damage rolls on them or about to take damage for them. But I said, no, wait a minute. Your feet is up and they're within your feet, so they don't suffer damage from sprays. In hindsight, knowing that, I should have just did a press forward order and just charged my commandos and get as much work through melee with them as much as possible.
I think you only charged with 3?
Yes.
Or no, you didn't charge, you walked?
I walked. There's no charging at all. They all walk. Yeah. So with Sanguine Bond, it would be very difficult to remove those champs off the board.
You took out one. You took out this one. You rolled hard on this one, and I think I just rolled it. I think you rolled like 11 damage or something.
Yeah, pretty good. With Fury on them as well as the mini feet, that's +5 on their damage. So which is good. It definitely helps them out a lot. But having that extra die on the charge, that would definitely come in. Mm-hmm. Would have definitely made it a little bit easier for me to remove models. In this case, it was unsuccessful.
There's that one champ that died.
Yeah, those champs will be very difficult to remove there because of Sanguine Bond. So that was basically my mindset here. In my mind, I want to clear those 3 flags so I could continue scoring on scenario. He's just really good in scenario, and he's just really good at this in Mirage, this specific scenario.
But in terms of clearing that flag, you didn't have a solo on that side to score it, though, right?
My plan was to run the dog. The dog could run 14 inches, and the dog could
replace the middle one.
And then replace the middle one with another solo that's nearby. Finn is just right there.
Yeah.
So that was my goal, to clear that flag, my opponent's flag first, and then just decide which solo to bring in. But as you can see, it's actually proving a lot more. It's proving a lot more difficult than I thought to clear out that flag, because the middle flag is also contested by one champ model.
Yeah.
Which is also it being a champ has sanguine bond. So yeah, it's just one model.
I think you got like 2 of them down to 4 life, but
down to 4 life. That's right.
But a lot of I still had at least 8 boxes left.
Not down to 4 life, but down to 1 life. 4 damage on them.
Yeah, like four life damage dealt. I still had room for 8 more damage by the end of that charge attack that you did.
Yeah, so that was basically what's going on in my mind. The good thing about battle reports like this is you get to hear what the players had in their mind, what their goals were.
Yeah, and this is where we talked about, like, I thought you were committing. That's why I was wondering why you charged that bear as opposed to the other bear, because your trencher busters could have went and killed the other bear.
That is true. In hindsight,
because he was clear to charge the bear to the side, and then those trencher busters do have line of sight to kick the other bear.
That's right.
They've got the flank. When they have flank,
they have flank. That's right, flank trencher models, which gives them strong hitting power if they're attacking someone who's also in melee range of another trencher model.
Yeah.
But we forgot to mention that the clock right now for me is definitely running quite low.
Right.
So my mind right now is like in my head, like I'm starting to panic. So a lot of my activations from here on out has been very not the most optimal.
Erratic as well, but you're still
and being able to not being able to clear out those flags, and knowing that's right now the way it is pretty much impossible.
Yeah. I think your trencher's activated and they're charging.
So yeah, my trencher's coming in, they're charging, and again, like in my head right now, it's a little bit of panic because the clock's running out. So, and I'm not gonna be able to clear those flags, and I know my opponent on his turn will be able to would have a really good turn right now, because he's pretty much there. He's delivered his army. So right now, basically, the trencher infantry is going in. They're just staying on that zone to prevent it from scoring, and just doing it, and just right now, just doing as much attacks as they could. I used that one trencher infantry model to hopefully do enough damage to clear out that flag in the middle zone, but failed to do that through sanguine bond. And right now, I'm rolling dice on those trencher infantry models that did a charge, and a few of them just did a failed charge on that one raider model. Over there in my opponent's circular zone.
I think I got like 2-3 guys there that could hit.
Mm-hmm.
I think he dies too.
Yeah. It's all 3 flags are contested right now by my opponent. It's Cygnar's turn right now. The top flag is contested by champs. The middle flag is contested by champs as well. And on the bottom flag over there,
bear.
The one it's being contested by a bear right now, and not being able to damage any of his models over there in the bottom on my right side. With a range attack, it really hurts, because with Triumph could easily remove that bear out of there.
Amen.
But
you're versing Gunnbjorn, the defective Trollblood that used to work for Cygnar.
Oh, there you go. He knows all my tricks. So not being able to damage him with range really hurt, because I did not need to kill the entire army with range. I just need to kill some models with range, but I couldn't do that because of his feet.
Yeah. He walked away with all your tricks and a big bazooka.
That is true.
He stole it, probably. Is this still the trenchers?
I believe that.
No, you're shooting something.
I can't shoot anything anymore.
No,
that's right.
Your turret's shooting
my turret is shooting that bear. Just again, right now it's I think in
hindsight you should have just turned the turn over, or just not bother, because that was a low power shot.
Well, it's not a low power shot. It's power 14 with high explosive, so it could take out that bear on a direct hit.
I don't think it did damage though, right?
No.
Dice off 7. Power 10. Well, no, what's the main gun?
The main gun is power 14, but
okay.
if it misses, then it's that is power 10 high explosive blast damage. Okay, so
I think we're doing the blast. We're resolving the blast. I think he dealt me 1 damage in blast
on that bear. Yes, yeah. Those bears are not that easy to get rid of. But fortunately,
and the other thing too, now that I think about it, maybe if I had ambushed 2 bears on that side,
that would have worked too.
That would have
Right,
more pressure there because I already had the Glacier King walking top or picking off Triumph.
Well,
I think.
at the same time too, the bears that you decide to ambush on your left side over there, at least are doing a job of contesting that flag.
Yeah, true. Looks like it's my turn. I think I'm just verifying a movement around the flag to make sure I could have a landing spot for that when the champs activate. Is that what that proxy is for? Doing my regular thing, doing my upkeeps, moving stuff around, and I think we're starting the turn already.
And if you're wondering what my hands are doing over there, I'm just fidgeting with dice, basically.
I think. Did you clock out already here?
I
think we called the clock out here, but we're going to continue the game just to finish one turn.
Yeah, it was already game over. It's definitely the Trolls game for sure. I ran out of time, but we decided to just keep going.
Yeah,
give my opponent
this
one activation.
We'll finish it off.
That's it. He was really itching to do his turn, so
we need to actually finish a decent video. Like we'll say you're at 1 second. Okay, so the champs go in, and I think we're gonna try to clear, but I think this is where I crush some, but I think there's still some left there because I think there was one that ended up contesting the flag, and it sort of prevented me from scoring. I don't think I scored a single point this whole game because you contested everything.
That's right.
So everywhere.
That was my game plan, just to contest everything and at the same time to hopefully score.
You scored 1.
2 points. I scored 2 points. So the end of the game it was 2-0.
Oh yeah, 2.
Yeah.
Same zone. Yeah. So overtaking forward. I think that 1-1 overtook forward, but he missed. Things are failing to tough, which is good for me.
So since the game, this is pretty much ended. The game is already ended. Would this be a good time to talk about in hindsight what we would change and what we would bring, what changes we would do in our gameplay for the next game?
Well, no, because let's finish the activation because we'll leave that for the after
the post game. Yeah. Sure.
I think we're running the bears over. I think I was trying to kill those last 2 trenchers there so that flag becomes free for me to score in. I think he still fails one guy. One guy is still within, and he stays alive. Where's that trencher? There's one trencher there. This trencher. That trencher is still within 4, I think.
If you're pointing at the keyboard as if our audience could see where you're pointing at.
I'm trying to see which there's a trencher. I know there's a trencher there because I didn't score, right? There's just still a trencher in that mess of people there, so that's why I didn't score. I think the Raiders now try to clear up more space with the for the bears to come in, so we're charging sort of like off angle to the side to clear off some more trenchers. Come on, there you go. I don't think you killed off a single unit. I think all of my units are still alive. So in terms of CPs, I think it's just your solos I didn't kill.
You didn't take out a whole unit either.
Yeah, neither of us took out an entire unit. There you go. Finally, treasures that are not rolling.
Yeah, there's
quick works. Quick works are finally happening.
That's right.
And I think we're checking the arc carrier in the back, so we're not in melee. So I can have my quick work attack.
That's right. They're back to back.
And no damage. Missed. And so we're doing
blast.
Deviation blast. And no damage.
Yeah, that's a POW 7 blast on an armor 13. So.
Yeah, I needed to roll higher than that. But one guy did get knocked down, which makes it easier. Bears are just walking up to kill those 2 other trenchers and also be further forward towards contesting that flag.
That's right. It's pretty much securing that flag and guaranteeing that I can't.
One bear eats up that knockdown trencher, and then we're gonna go ahead and have 3 attacks to kill that one trencher, and hopefully, I think he dies off the first one.
That's right. This is when my tough roll started to abandon me or fail me. But hey, you can't have it all.
I think Valka just runs up to the side there, also be a contesting piece on the side. He was underutilized in this whole game. I think he should have been better off running straight up against that flag or run around from the very beginning. He just hid behind everybody, and he's one of those pieces that are like, he's got everything on his card.
He's like he's basically the troll equivalent of Finn.
He's got a super solo. He's got crazy 2 axes, and I didn't use him this whole entire game other than contesting behind the house.
The same thing. I could say the same thing for Finn. Finn was just there to give the +1 attack. Attack.
Where in
attack
reality,
bonus
you
to my
used him
unit.
more.
I could have used him more for sure.
Gunnbjorn's activating now. I think he does his usual thing. I think he's gonna try to do his spells first. So drop rock wall, put up guided fire, and I think he's gonna shoot that first one of those trenches in front of him.
Again,
that's good. So it's a big shot, big shot bazooka, and I think he clears off one.
So right now there's a trencher on your
that one. That's the one he shot. It's the only one he has shot. He only has rate of fire 1. And then now so I think at one point I also told you that I checked up the distance of the two models there between the objective and the model to make sure that the Glacier King can walk through.
That's right.
Because he's a huge base model, and to be able to have that ability to show that it's clear you could go through, because a huge base model can be blocked by numerous things.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So right now the huge base model is committing one of his 3 shots on a small base trencher model.
Yeah,
it's pretty funny.
I should have just forgot about it and just be like, screw it. We'll just leave them there.
They do so much. The mind games. This game is not just about models; it's about mind games as well. Putting things that make your opponent have to worry about.
Or waste of time.
Part of the game.
I should have just forgot about it. And then the rest of the shots are going into Triumph.
They should have all gone into Triumph.
They should have gone to Triumph the whole game. They should have just gone to Triumph, because I think he was hurting. He was hurting. Yeah, he was hurting already at this point.
Yeah, Triumph was left with 1 health box. Yeah. That's it. He lived to tell the story. But if he had committed all 3 shots into Triumph instead of 2,
and also this is where I finally remembered that his thing also has pushback as well.
That's right.
So I forgot the rest of Glacier King's gun that could push.
So you limited it to just a damage dealing gun.
Yeah, rather than a D3 push with a critical hit. Stationary.
It's an overcosted gun.
I know. Still pretty good. I think this is where we shook off, and then that's the end of the game. So yeah, end of game discussion. Afterthought discussion, whatever you want to call it. So shake off the rust. Big thing.
Absolutely.
We both haven't played in a month. I think we've been busy. I've been busy with life,
and not just not playing too. At the same time too, usually when I'm not playing, I'd be like when I was playing competitively. I mean, when I'm not actively playing, when I'm not at the game store, like my mind is thinking about strategies and lists and synergies. I was thinking about War Machine, but for this last month, I just decided to just clear my brain, just focus on other priorities in life. So I wasn't playing games, but at the same time too, I wasn't thinking about games either. So playing this game really, it's a lot of it was just basically going back to square one.
That's good. Jump is starting you back into it.
Oh, I think so. I had a lot of fun. But on hindsight, what I would do is again like that ambush. Knowing that ambush happens on the second round, not on the first round, would definitely change the way I position things and maybe keep more models alive, like my gunner.
Mm-hmm.
At the same.
Also, sorry, I don't think we ended that video very well. So Trollbloods win turn bottom of 3. Basically, we'll just call it. We'll put it up to clock out. But
yes.
you had 3 CPs because you still count my turn.
Yes, your bears were in.
My bears continue. Okay, so you end the game with 2 CPs. 2-0.
2-0 for Cygnar CPs, but unfortunately Cygnar clocked out. And it's a list. When I first started playing this list, it was one of the major hurdles that I had to get over. It's
Lots of bottles.
Just clock management, and I did get over that. But right now, being rusty, it's back to that again. But I'm sure it's gonna take a lot quicker now to get over that than it was initially. But again, keeping in mind Sanguine Bond, just being able to just before he pops his feet. Getting as much of my models, his models cleared off the board as much as possible. Being able using Anson Hitch and giving my trencher infantry press the advantage would have allowed me to use my assault charges a lot better. For the commandos up there, if I want to clear models from the board, I should have charged them in, did a press forward and charged them in rather than just walk forward. Again, just keeping in mind, just being on top of your game and just remembering what your opponent did. I forgot that he popped his feet, so basically I chose to walk them forward and shoot rather than doing a charge, which is obviously the wrong move in hindsight now. Remembering that he had his feet up, those sprays would do nothing. But if I had done a press forward and charged in, I would have been able to do quite more damage than I did there, and hopefully just clear out some flags.
Well, they were at least, I think 2 of them were down to 1 health.
Exactly, and then one had 2
health.
health.
A whole bunch that still had a health, so you might have been able to kill half of them. And in retaliatory to that, like you lost 3 or 4 going in before that charge, because you just walked them in and tried to take out the raiders before. You had like 4. You had 4 committed before.
Mm-hmm.
And then those guys went away. Then you still had another 8 behind it, I guess.
Yeah, that's right.
12-man unit, right?
So the trenchers are small base models, skirmishers. They're expendable, but at the same time too, if you could preserve them easily, preserve them. Like I said, staying away from your charge. Your charge
commandos.
range.
Those were
the commandos. Yeah,
the commandos are different, though, right?
They're trenchers. Trencher commandos. Yeah,
But they kill
Pathfinder.
better. They also deny tough, which is the big one.
No, they're the same as a trencher, just in a different way. They do have native Pathfinder, which is really good. But like again, going back as
if you thought of switch their position instead, have the commandos on the bottom and have the.
No, I think the positioning was good. What I could have done in the first turn over there when I ran the commandos up is like I said, if I could have saved them by staying away, staying out of your charge threat.
Yep.
That would have saved me, I don't know, 2-3 models, which I could continue using and utilizing throughout the game. The trencher infantry, they did their job. They kept they contest, like as you can see, they contested my opponent's zone the entire game, and they're able to keep my opponent out. But I could have got more work out of them if Anson Hitch gave them press the advantage. Finn could have utilized more. I could have used him to do.
You were scared of that acid pool.
the acid pool, yeah.
I think if you put your jacks maybe in the acid pool, because you could walk them through the acid pool, because they're high enough armor that
they could take the corrosion damage.
You could wait to take the corrosion 1 point damage, and then maybe later they'll fizzle.
Absolutely, yeah. So definitely just keeping my keeping my opponent's feet in mind, and just making sure that I clear those flags and being able to score on them would definitely be key. Saving as much of my models as possible, like the key models from dying. My gunner dying there on my opponent's first turn was unnecessary. If he had dug in, it could have helped.
That was lucky for me. You walked him right in. I'm like, sweet.
I did. And we all know the reason. But basically, I lost the game. I lost the game through clocking. So, and that was the main thing. Who knows where it would have gone? I was 2 points up. Who knows where it would have gone if it wasn't for the clock? But we're
gonna play another game. We're gonna do this as a series. Ace and I will be playing this as a series between the Gunnbjorn versus Siege2
Gravediggers.
Siege2 Gravediggers. Exact same list, and we're gonna run it and see, run it over and over and over again and see best of 3, best of 5, whatever. Whichever we decide, we're like, okay, we've dealt with this enough that
we owe our audience to see us play at the top of our game. So that's definitely what we plan to do. So definitely right now, the main thing I need to work on is just to get back my clock management skills and just being able to play well and stay within time. How about you? How about your game?
My game was a little bit less rusty than yours, but at the same time made some crucial mistakes. I think if I didn't go after Triumph the whole game, I think I would have pegged off for sure your officer.
Yes.
For the Commandos. If not Hitch and Gibbs. No, not Gibbs.
Gibbs is not in this game.
Who's the guy with the big Gatling gun? Finn and Hitch. Finn, Hitch, and the doggy. Those were the ones I would have taken out, because that was
key solos for sure.
Key solos for sure. If I didn't go after him, if I didn't go after Triumph, I think my second plan would have been go after that, and positioning my ambushing bears a little bit better as well. I say it's probably one of the other key things I need to worry about, and then having a clear path for the Glacier King to move forward and be not so restricted by the range.
Absolutely, like anytime you play a huge base, just getting as much ground rhythm as possible is the most important thing.
Yeah. But anyways, that's all we have time for today. Thank you so much, and we will
see you again on our next game, on our next round.
Good night.